So let's talk a little bit more about tuberous sclerosis complex, or TSC. So TSC, just so that you understand a little bit about it, is a genetic disorder or genetic disease that causes non-cancerous tumors to grow in different parts of your organs. That means that they can grow in your heart, your lungs, your brain, kidneys, skin. So it all depends pretty much genetically. Let's put it like that. So how it impacts one person doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to impact another person, even in the same gene pool. So your brother, your sister, you both can have TSC, but doesn't necessarily mean that you will be impacted in the same way. And I could give you a few examples just on my two girls. So welcome everyone. Hope you're having an amazing day. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a seasoned subscriber, welcome back. And thank you so much for subscribing. If you are interested in videos all about TSC and FSGS, or a little bit of fun with fashion, then you're in the right place. Please click the subscribe button, hit the little bell so you can be notified on all my latest videos. And thank you. And let's get started. So the way TSC affected my youngest daughter, she actually has tumors in her brain. She also has a Sega tumor, which is a larger tumor. Now, the tumor grew to about 3.2 centimeters, and thank goodness we caught it in time. She ended up getting on it's a fairly new therapeutic pill or medication called everolimus. It's also known as an mTOR inhibitor. What it does is it blocks the actual protein in the tumor, and it shrinks it little by little. Sometimes it's effective on people, sometimes it's not. We were fortunate enough where it was extremely effective on my daughter, and the tumor has shrunk to about 1.6 centimeters at this point, I believe. She is up for another MRI coming up in July. So I will have more information as far as where it is at this point. But we were super excited that it was something that was beneficial to her. Now, she also, with the tumor, when she was younger, was having seizures. We finally found a good medication regimen that has been able to sustain those seizures, and she's no longer having them. Where she was consistently throughout a week, she'll get like little ones here and there, causing her obviously we had to do a lot of monitoring, also work with different neurologists to find the perfect combination for her as far as medications were concerned. So we finally got her to a good place. She does have intellectual disabilities where she has a lot of processing delays, struggles in school, so she needs additional support. And that is probably more common than not with kids or people that do have TSC and the brain is impacted, right? Very common to have seizures. Other things that are common, like I said, developmental delays, intellectual disabilities. You're also looking at skin abnormalities. Common skin abnormalities are, you'll see like those, it's almost like raised freckles across the face or the front face right here on your cheekbone. Other common ones are like Charlie patches. Charlie patches are very common on the skin. They look almost like it's almost like the shape of a leaf. That's why it's called that. And you normally need like a light to actually see the impression of it. Also very common when it comes to TSC is periungual fibromas. Periungual fibromas can pretty much grow throughout the nail bed, on your toenails, on your nails, and it's actually how I found out that my oldest daughter had TSC. And at the same time, where I was pregnant, I found out that my youngest had it because they saw tumors in her heart. So it was kind of like, now he's understanding, because when my oldest had the periungual fibromas on her toes, we took her to a foot doctor, and he actually said, hey, you may want to look into this because this is commonly related to this. So, because what we were looking to do was actually have them removed, but we didn't know what they were related to. Other common stuff are autism, ADHD. My daughter also has ADHD. Sleep disturbances or cognitive impairment, behavioral issues. So they might because it impacts them neurologically. They'll have difficulties working with other students or just getting along with people, get very frustrated easily, just have difficulties just getting along with people. So that is something that's common as well, again, because of the tubers in the brain. Now, my oldest daughter does have tubers in the brain, but they're very small and sporadic, and she was not impacted in any way in the brain. Her biggest issues were all related to her kidney, which is very common with TSC. What they both have is the genetic gene called FSGS, and it can, being that it wasn't that she got it from both parents, it was just one parent where she got the TSC gene and the FSGS gene. That is why she was more impacted with her kidney. So her whole life, pretty much since a very young age, she was trying to battle kidney disease. And as she got older, she ended up losing it. I gave her my kidney, and then she ended up, losing it in 2 years, went on dialysis, and then she currently has, or recently had, a new transplant as of now, going on 2 years in August. So her biggest thing was all kidney related. Though she had tubers in her brain, she also has a skull tumor, which is malignant. It's just sitting here, like pretty much on the side of her face, causes her to have headaches, but there's not much they could do because of where it's located. They really said it's really not bugging you as far as like anything serious is not going to grow anymore. So we chose to just leave it there at that point. And they're pretty, they can be removed again, but it all depends on where it's located. And we said she's had so many surgeries that we'd rather just leave that one alone. Yeah, let's just keep it where it is at this point. When it comes to TSC, indicators for the actual disease, it's like if you start seeing like red bumps across your face or red rashes across your face, it can be on the forehead. They can also be pretty much in the skin. They almost start off as like they almost look like acne when you're really little, and then as you get older, they look like freckles or raised freckles across the face. Also, the periungual fibromas, like I was saying, on the nail bed, that's actually an indicator. They normally grow on the toenails first, and then those later on in life might grow in the nails. A lot of times you'll have problem thinking and learning because of the tubers in the brain. A very common things that happen again is the seizures. Those are very commonly related with TSC. You'll see common behavior issues. This includes a lot of hyperactivity, self-injury sometimes, or aggression, or just issues with socializing. Like my daughter has a great tendency. She meets friends and she gets along with them, but she tends to have problems keeping those friends because she's overly emotional. It's hard for her to kind of just calm down and stay calm. So she does have to work a little bit harder at keeping her friends. And it goes back to just what I was saying with the learning and the behavioral issues. Understanding boundaries, understanding what to do and how to interact. So she is working at that. She's getting better at it. But yes, this is an area that is really common with my daughter, my youngest. Another issue that occurs in women, more often in women than men with TSC, is a condition called LAM. A lot of times though, it's just little lesions that occur, the tubers that occur in the lungs. There is very rare, 1 to 3% of women actually end up getting LAM, or men end up getting less even, end up developing into LAM. It's not something that is very common in people that have TSC, but it's something to look out for. And when you do determine or find out that your child does have TSC, just like both of my daughters, I had to see a number of specialists to just continue to monitor them to ensure that they're doing okay and that they're developing okay. Unfortunately, there is not a cure for TSC. There are just ways to kind of combat each of the different symptoms. So for example, if you're having seizures, you work with a neurologist. If you're having kidney issues, you work with a nephrologist. So and so forth and so forth. If you have lung issues, you work with the pulmonologist. It's just different specialists that you're working with. So it does become very tedious and very frustrating because you just want to be able to go see one doctor for all your issues, but unfortunately you can't. So it is something that we've been working through our entire lives. So a majority of our lives at this point. Other issues that are common, heart issues. So it's something that you definitely want to keep an eye on. This is normally something that happens when you're born. So that's what happened with my youngest daughter. They did see tubers in her heart, but the tubers were absorbed by the bloodstream, which is very common. But if it does cause blockage, if the tumors are causing blockage in any way, then they would have to go in and obviously remove that tuber from there, because you can't, obviously you don't want a tuber causing any type of issues, as far as, especially if they're causing any blockage. And that's what happened with my daughter with the brain, my youngest, where she was having issues with the SAGA. It was causing fluid blockage, and unfortunately we were kind of contemplating whether or not we were going to go into surgery, or if we were going to try this new therapeutic medication called everolimus, or an mTOR inhibitor. So something that can happen as well with my oldest daughter experience was having those pits in your teeth, as well as in your tongue area, on the gum area. Those are something that are common as well. So you have to keep an eye on, again, another doctor, you're looking at the dentist. So unfortunately, we did not recognize that my oldest daughter had TSC until she was 12 years old. And that's when I took her to the foot doctor. Also, we found out she was having kidney issues all at the same time, as well as while I was 9 months pregnant, and found out that my daughter that had not given birth, I had not given birth to yet, was also having had TSC, just from indicators in her heart. So I hope I was able to give you some information. Please know I am not a doctor. I do not have any medical background. I am not a nurse, do not have a medical degree. This is all from real life experience. I have 2 girls with TSC, or tuberous sclerosis complex, as well as FSGS. I'm not going to try to say that one, but I will note it here. So what I wanted to the reason and the purpose for this video, and for my videos on TSC and FSGS, is so that I can get my message out. I don't see a lot of information about parents that are working or interacting with children that have TSC, but I figured, why not get this information out there? And if someone needs it, they have the information, they can reach out to me. Please feel free to, if you have any concerns or any questions or something that we've dealt with and the medication that we're on, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you. Feel free to leave me a comment, give me your input. And thank you so much for checking out my video. Hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell so you can be notified on all of my latest videos. And again, thank you so much for your support. And please don't ever forget to focus through and evolve. Ciao.